What if Princess Diana's death was not just a tragic accident? What if there was more to the story than what was officially reported? The world was shaken on August 31st, 1997, when news broke that Diana, Princess of Wales, had died in a catastrophic car crash in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris. The grief was immediate and profound. Millions around the globe mourned the loss of a woman who had become more than just a royal. She was a humanitarian, a style icon, and a symbol of compassion. But in the wake of the tragedy, questions arose, and whispers of conspiracy grew louder. The official narrative stated that the crash was the result of reckless driving by Henri Paul, the driver of the Mercedes carrying Diana, her partner Dodi Fayed, and bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones. Paul, allegedly intoxicated at the time, lost control of the vehicle while trying to evade relentless paparazzi. But for many, this explanation seemed too simple, too convenient. Was this truly just an accident, or was there something more sinister at play? To understand the mystery surrounding Diana's death, we must first understand her life and the forces she was up against. From her highly publicized and ultimately tumultuous marriage to Prince Charles to her struggles with the relentless scrutiny of the media, Diana lived under an unrelenting spotlight. But beyond the glamour and fairy tale image, she was also a fierce advocate for humanitarian causes, taking on issues that made her both revered and, in some circles, a threat. Her outspoken nature, particularly on topics like the banning of landmines, AIDS awareness, and the treatment of women within the royal family, won her admiration worldwide, but also made her powerful enemies. In the years leading up to her death, Diana had become increasingly vocal about her fears. She expressed concerns about being watched, about threats to her life, and in a chilling letter she wrote in 1995, she claimed, "My husband is planning an accident in my car, brake failure and serious head injury." This statement, coupled with the mysteries surrounding the events of that fateful night, has led to endless speculation. Why were the cameras in the tunnel not working at the time of the crash? Why was emergency medical assistance delayed? Was there something, or someone, responsible for ensuring Diana would never pose a threat to the establishment again? Join us as we delve deep into the life, legacy, and lingering mysteries of Princess Diana. We will explore the events leading up to her tragic death, the theories that refuse to fade away, and the lasting impact of one of the most shocking moments in modern history. The truth remains elusive, but one thing is certain: the world has never stopped asking questions. Born on July 1st, 1961, Diana Frances Spencer grew up in a world of privilege, yet her early years were far from perfect. She was the daughter of John Spencer, the 8th Earl Spencer, and Frances Shand Kidd, making her part of British aristocracy. However, despite her noble lineage, Diana's childhood was marked by emotional hardship. When she was just 7 years old, her parents divorced, an event that deeply affected her. She and her siblings remained with their father, and the absence of her mother left a lasting emotional void in Diana's life. From a young age, Diana was known for her kind and gentle nature, often taking on a caring role for her younger siblings. She attended elite boarding schools but struggled academically. Despite this, she excelled in the arts, particularly music, dance, and ballet, and for a time, she dreamed of becoming a professional ballerina. However, her height, nearly 5 feet 10 inches, prevented her from pursuing ballet at the highest level. Instead, she embraced roles that allowed her to care for others, working as a nursery assistant in London before her life changed forever. Diana's life took a dramatic turn in 1977 when she was introduced to Prince Charles, the heir to the British throne. At the time, she was just 16 years old, and Charles, 29, was dating her older sister, Sarah Spencer. Their paths crossed again in 1980, and this time, Charles took an interest in Diana. Their romance quickly became the subject of intense media scrutiny, and by February 1981, their engagement was announced. The world was captivated by the fairy tale of a beautiful, innocent young woman preparing to marry a prince. On July 29, 1981, Diana and Charles were married in a lavish ceremony at St. Paul's Cathedral, watched by an estimated 750 million people worldwide. She instantly became a global sensation, admired for her elegance, charm, and striking beauty. But behind the grandeur of the royal wedding, cracks in their relationship were already beginning to form. Despite the public's perception of a storybook romance, Diana's marriage was anything but perfect. From the very beginning, she faced immense pressure and scrutiny, both from the royal family and the relentless British media. The most painful blow, however, was Prince Charles's ongoing relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles. Diana, even before the wedding, had suspected Charles was still emotionally tied to Camilla. One of the most haunting moments came when Diana discovered a bracelet that Charles had custom-made for Camilla just before their wedding. Her suspicions were confirmed over time, and she later described feeling like there were 3 people in the marriage, a reference to Camilla's lingering presence. This realization left Diana feeling betrayed, isolated, and deeply insecure. Despite trying to embrace her role as the Princess of Wales, Diana struggled emotionally. She battled bulimia, anxiety, and depression, which were only exacerbated by the pressures of royal life and constant media intrusion. The tabloids followed her every move, often portraying her in ways that magnified her struggles. She once admitted that self-harm became an outlet for her pain, revealing that she had deliberately injured herself out of desperation. Though her personal life was turbulent, Diana found purpose and solace in her humanitarian work. Unlike many royals before her, she didn't shy away from controversial issues. Instead, she embraced them, breaking traditional royal protocol and connecting with the public on a deeply personal level. She became a leading advocate for AIDS awareness, famously shaking hands with an AIDS patient in 1987, breaking the stigma surrounding the disease. She championed homelessness and mental health awareness, often visiting shelters unannounced. One of her most iconic causes was landmine removal, and in 1997, she walked through an active minefield in Angola, raising awareness for the dangers they posed. Her compassion and willingness to challenge outdated norms made her one of the most beloved figures in the world. She wasn't just a royal figure, she was a global humanitarian. However, her growing popularity and independence posed a problem for the monarchy. The more she distanced herself from the royal family, the more powerful her influence became. Some believe that this very independence, her ability to reshape the public's perception of the royal institution, made her a threat to the establishment. As her marriage unraveled, Diana and Charles officially separated in 1992, and their divorce was finalized in 1996. With her royal duties behind her, Diana was free to pursue her own identity, but this newfound freedom came at a cost. The media's obsession with her only intensified, and she remained one of the most photographed and pursued women in the world. What followed was a series of events that would eventually lead to her untimely and controversial death, a tragedy that, to this day, remains shrouded in mystery. On the night of August 31st, 1997, Princess Diana and her companion, Dodi Fayed, were in Paris, trying to escape the relentless paparazzi. They had spent the evening at the Ritz Hotel, owned by Dodi's father, Mohammed Al Fayed, but the media's presence outside made it impossible for them to move freely. Around 12:20 a.m., Diana and Dodi attempted to slip away unnoticed through a back exit. Accompanied by bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones and Henri Paul, the Ritz's head of security, who was assigned as their driver for the night. As their black Mercedes-Benz S280 pulled onto the streets of Paris, a swarm of paparazzi on motorcycles immediately took chase, eager to capture new photos of one of the world's most famous women. In response, Henri Paul accelerated, weaving through traffic in an attempt to evade them. However, what few people knew at the time was that Paul had been drinking before taking the wheel. Later toxicology reports would reveal that his blood alcohol level was over 3 times the legal limit in France, raising serious questions about whether he should have been allowed to drive in the first place. At approximately 12:23 a.m., the high-speed chase reached a deadly climax as the Mercedes entered the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, a dimly lit underpass along the River Seine. Traveling at an estimated 65 to 70 miles per hour, well beyond the tunnel's speed limit, Henri Paul lost control of the vehicle. The car veered sharply left and crashed head-on into the 13th concrete pillar. The impact was devastating. The wreckage was horrific, with the front of the car crumpled beyond recognition. Paparazzi, who had been tailing the vehicle, rushed to the scene within seconds, but instead of helping, some began taking photos, capturing the final moments of Princess Diana, a decision that would later spark widespread outrage. Within minutes, emergency responders arrived and worked frantically to rescue the victims. Dodi Fayed was killed instantly, his body found motionless in the front passenger seat. Henry Paul, the driver, was also pronounced dead at the scene. Trevor Rees-Jones, the bodyguard, miraculously survived but suffered severe facial and head injuries. Princess Diana, still alive but critically injured, was found in the back seat, semi-conscious and in distress. Diana had suffered massive internal injuries, including a ruptured pulmonary vein, which caused severe internal bleeding. Paramedics worked desperately to stabilize her at the scene before transporting her to Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital, one of the best trauma centers in Paris. For hours, doctors fought to save her life, performing emergency surgery in an attempt to stop the bleeding. The world held its breath, hoping for a miracle. But at 4 a.m., Princess Diana was pronounced dead, sending shockwaves across the globe. As news of her death spread, an unprecedented wave of grief swept through the world. Millions mourned the loss of the people's princess, a woman whose kindness, compassion, and humanitarian efforts had left an indelible mark on history. Yet, even in the midst of global sorrow, questions and suspicions arose almost immediately. How did this happen? Why was Henry Paul allowed to drive if he had been drinking? Were the paparazzi directly responsible for the crash? Or was there something more sinister at play? Thus began decades of speculation, conspiracy theories, and investigations into what really happened that night, a mystery that continues to haunt the world to this day. In the wake of Diana's tragic death, a storm of suspicion and conspiracy theories took hold, fueling speculation that her passing was not an accident, but the result of a carefully orchestrated plot. Central to these theories was the claim that Diana was pregnant with Dodi Fayed's child, a revelation that, if true, could have sent shockwaves through the British monarchy. Many wondered, would the royal family have accepted a future where the mother of a future king was married to a Muslim man? One of the loudest voices behind these allegations was Mohammed Al Fayed, Dodi's father and the owner of Harrods. He openly accused the British establishment, including Prince Charles, MI6, and even Queen Elizabeth herself, of orchestrating a plan to silence Diana before she could marry Dodi. According to Al Fayed, the royal family could not tolerate the idea of Diana marrying outside of British aristocracy, let alone into a wealthy Egyptian Muslim family. Al Fayed's accusations sent shockwaves through the media, igniting widespread interest and deepening public distrust in the official account of Diana's death. He pointed fingers at government agencies and high-ranking officials, suggesting that the crash in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel was no accident, but a carefully planned assassination carried out with military precision. As the speculation grew, more disturbing details surfaced. A chilling piece of evidence often cited by conspiracy theorists was a letter Diana had written to her former butler, Paul Burrell, nearly a year before her death. In this note, she expressed a deep fear that someone was planning to tamper with her car and orchestrate an accident. This eerie prediction only fueled suspicions. Had Diana herself foreseen her own demise? Some theories suggested that the paparazzi were just a convenient scapegoat, and that instead, a rogue faction within MI6 had carried out a covert operation to remove Diana from the picture. Others questioned why security cameras in the tunnel were not functioning properly that night, or why emergency responders took over an hour to transport Diana to the hospital, despite her being alive at the crash site. The media frenzy surrounding these theories refused to die down. Books, documentaries, and investigative reports dug deep into the inconsistencies, keeping Diana's death at the forefront of public consciousness. The British government and the royal family, meanwhile, maintained their silence, further fueling speculation that they had something to hide. To many, Diana was more than just a princess. She was a symbol of defiance, a woman who had challenged the monarchy and won the hearts of millions. Was her death truly a tragic accident, or was it the result of forces far more powerful than the world could imagine? In response to the growing public outcry and conspiracy theories, British authorities launched an investigation known as Operation Paget. The inquiry aimed to uncover the truth behind Diana's death and address the myriad of allegations surrounding the incident. The investigation concluded that the crash was caused by the reckless driving of Henry Paul, who had been under the influence of alcohol at the time. Operation Paget's findings were detailed and thorough, examining the events leading up to the fatal crash. The investigation revealed that the paparazzi had indeed pursued Diana and Dodi, contributing to the chaotic circumstances that night. However, it ultimately determined that there was no evidence to support the claims of a conspiracy involving the royal family or any other parties. Despite the official conclusions, many remained skeptical. The lack of transparency surrounding the investigation led to lingering doubts and ongoing speculation. Some questioned whether the inquiry had been conducted impartially, while others believed that key evidence had been overlooked. The public's distrust continued to grow, fueled by a desire for answers and a need to understand the circumstances surrounding Diana's tragic end. The media's portrayal of Diana's life and death had a profound impact on public perception. In the years leading up to her passing, Diana had become a favorite subject for tabloids and news outlets, often depicted as a tragic figure struggling against the constraints of royal life. After her death, the media's focus shifted to the circumstances surrounding the crash, sparking a frenzy of speculation and sensationalism. The royal family's response to Diana's death also played a significant role in shaping public opinion. Initially, the family remained silent, retreating to Balmoral Castle in Scotland to mourn in private. This decision drew criticism from the public, who felt that the monarchy was detached from the grief experienced by the nation. The contrast between the public's outpouring of sorrow and the royal family's muted response highlighted a growing disconnect between the monarchy and the people. As the days passed, the royal family faced mounting pressure to address the public's concerns. Queen Elizabeth II eventually delivered a televised tribute to Diana, acknowledging her contributions and the impact she had on the world. However, many felt that the tribute was insufficient and long overdue, leading to further scrutiny of the royal family's actions. Diana's death marked a turning point for the monarchy, forcing them to re-evaluate their relationship with the public. In the years that followed, the royal family adopted a more personable approach, engaging with the public in a way that had not been seen before. Diana's legacy continued to shape the monarchy's image, as they sought to connect with the people in a more meaningful way. Despite the tragedy of her death, Diana's legacy endures. Her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, have embraced their mother's humanitarian work, dedicating themselves to causes that reflect her values. William has focused on mental health awareness, conservation, and homelessness, while Harry has become an advocate for mental health and veterans' well-being. Their commitment to continuing Diana's work ensures that her spirit lives on. Diana's life and legacy have also been explored in numerous documentaries, books, and films. These portrayals highlight her impact on the world and the ongoing fascination with her story. The media, which once scrutinized her every move, now pays tribute to her legacy, ensuring that her memory endures for future generations. Yet, the questions surrounding her death continue to linger. Speculation about the circumstances of that fateful night remains a topic of discussion. Did Diana foresee her fate? Was her death truly an accident, or was it a calculated move by those threatened by her influence? The enduring mystery adds to the complexity of her legacy, as people grapple with the duality of her life as both a beloved public figure and a tragic icon. Diana's influence extended beyond her charitable work and royal duties. She reshaped cultural perceptions of the monarchy and the role of women in society. Her approach to motherhood, which emphasized emotional connection and openness, challenged traditional views of royal parenting. Diana was often seen holding hands with children, hugging those in need, and engaging with individuals from all walks of life. This warmth and accessibility endeared her to the public, making her a relatable figure in a world often marked by formality and distance. Furthermore, Diana's candidness about her struggles with mental health and her experiences with bulimia brought important issues to the forefront of public discourse. By speaking openly about her challenges, she helped to destigmatize mental health issues, encouraging others to seek help and support. Her legacy in this regard has paved the way for future conversations about mental health, particularly within the royal family. Diana's fashion choices also left a lasting impact on the world of style. Known for her impeccable taste, she became a fashion icon, influencing trends and designers alike. From her stunning wedding gown to her elegant evening wear, Diana's style was often emulated and celebrated. Her ability to use fashion as a means of self-expression showcased her personality and individuality, further endearing her to the public. In the years following her death, Diana's story has continued to resonate with people around the globe. Her life has inspired countless tributes, from charitable foundations to memorials. The legacy of the People's Princess is not just one of tragedy. It is a story of resilience, compassion, and the power of connection. As we reflect on the life and legacy of Princess Diana, we are left with more questions than answers. Her tragic end continues to fuel speculation and intrigue, reminding us of the complexities of fame, family, and the pursuit of truth. The story of Princess Diana is not just about her death. It's about the impact she made and the love she inspired. Her legacy as the People's Princess will forever be etched in our hearts. Diana's life was a testament to the power of compassion and the importance of authenticity. She showed us that being royal is not just about titles and privilege. It is about using one's influence for good and connecting with others on a human level. In a world that often feels divided, her story reminds us of the significance of empathy and understanding. Even over 2 decades after her passing, Diana's name continues to be spoken with respect and admiration. Her work inspires new generations to advocate for change, challenge societal norms, and embrace their authentic selves. As we remember Princess Diana, let us honor her legacy by continuing to spread kindness and compassion in our own lives. If you enjoyed this exploration of Princess Diana's life and legacy, please like and subscribe for more intriguing stories. Don't forget to check out the next video shown on your screen, where we delve into another captivating chapter of history.